we have a well on our property, the new property we just bought, but it's not working. So I want to replace everything and fix the well. Anyways, before we do that, we don't have water. So what do?
Tell everyone what you're doing.
So this is a Pipe Springs Park, and there is water, a spring here, and the water comes out from the pipe, and filling up my water buckets for the RV.
Okay, so a lot of people always ask, how do RVers get water? There are lots of places to get water. Let me answer some of those for you. Now that we have a home base here, we're gonna show you how we get water and then put it into the RV without actually moving the RV. So there is a park near us, it's called Pipe Springs, and they have a spring there. And so we will go and we'll take some drums and we'll fill it up. Let us show you how we figured out how to do that. We used to actually fill it up with some buckets and we would form an assembly line with our kids. And this is what that looked like. Okay, so we have these 20-gallon drums right here, and normally we will bring 3 of them, and that will fill up our entire rig when we do it. Jeff has made like a funnel out of like a distilled water cup, so it funnels it. We'll put it right here and we'll funnel the water into here, and that's how we get water. When we are not at a gas station where you can use just like a garden hose and just stick the hose inside, and then, you know, that'll fill it up on its own. So here's how we were doing it with our kids with these buckets. So let's show you how we do that. All right, guys, form your assembly line. Okay, ready? So the really cool part about doing water this way is that our kids love Little House on the Prairie, and Emma said to me one day, she goes, "Mom, I feel like Laura Ingalls where she has to go get the water every day." And I thought, wow, that's great, this is their chore. But now we take a huge 20-foot PVC pipe and it's a lot faster. So come with us and we'll show you how we do it. So we're now going to show you, after a few weeks of doing it with like the buckets, how we actually have decided to fill up our water now until we get our well water done. And now we're going to use the PVC pipe. And just so you know, Faith, our 9-year-old, is going to be filming. So this is going to be a test to see how well she'll be able to capture it without too much motion. Maybe you guys will have to tell us how she did in the comments below. Okay, so this, Emma's got it, and she's not actually gonna do it, but what I'm gonna do is hook this PVC pipe up into that white bucket, or we can even do that, like that, and then it goes across, it goes across the pole, and he puts it right there into the pipe spring. So that's, he's drinking the water. Are you thirsty, Dad? Anyway, so let's show you how we do that. I'm gonna give the camera to Faith. Okay, so we are now funneling the water, and it's going right there directly into the drum. Faith, hold it there for a minute. As you can see, Jeff is holding it so he can raise it up or down to give me better flow, but it goes straight into the pipe. Here you go. Any more flow? But seriously, there are actually lots of places that make it easier. If you go to some gas stations, a lot of times, I know at least in the West, there are gas stations there that would have potable water that you could just hook up your hose to, your freshwater hose, and you would hook it up to it and fill up like some drums, or you could fill up your RV there. A lot of times that we would do that. Some national parks that we've been to have had places where there's water that you can fill up there. There's RV parks. There's lots of places that we've been able to find where you can also find water. You just kind of have to Google and search around. Like a lot of times I'll do the Free Roam app, or I'll even Google places. I know some people use Campendium, and other places that will tell you, like there's dumpstation.com as well, or Sandy Dumps I think is another one. So there's lots of places that you can find where it'll tell you where there is to get water. So don't have that be a fear about starting to RV.
Okay, so when I can't just hook in with the hose and pour the water into our tanks, there's a process I have to go through to get the water into the rig. First, you have to get the water, put it in the barrels here, get it from whatever source you're going to get it from, the gas station, or for instance with us, we go to Pipe Springs. We take this, we load it in the truck or the van, and we funnel the water into the barrels so that we can then bring it back here and put it into our rig. Okay. So some rigs or some RVs have a pump where they don't have to actually have an external pump, but this rig doesn't have it, so I have to have an external pump. This is my external pump. Okay, it pumps the water out. So let me show you here. You need two hoses. One hose for the inlet and one for the out. Okay, so you take the water wherever the water source is. I have this on. It doesn't suck up any big particles. Put that in there. Most external pumps require you to prime the pump. This one is included in that, so you have to prime the pump. So what I do is I use the gravity rather than, so there's a priming inlet right here. You can take this off and pour water in there. I don't like that because it's annoying. So what I do is I just use the force of gravity, and that's why it's on the ground, and I'll suck it. Once I suck on it, it pulls that water into the reservoir here. So I just
You look so silly.
and now
So you would rather do that than...
it's quick and easy. You just suck on it and it pulls the water right in. So, and then this I just hooked up to my, oh shoot, sorry, let me get connected here. See how it's just pouring out? You don't even need a pump if you use gravity. So this goes to the rig, long hose. Here's some things that I use just in case I want to bypass my filter. I use this, for instance, if I want to flush my black tank. Anyways, that's another video. So filter, and then my little spongy or flexible hose. One other thing that I like that I do, because these things here are plastic and they can get damaged, is I actually hook this here so that I'm not taking on and off. I'm not taking this on and off. Does that make sense? So that the rig extensions or connections, sorry. So that the rig connections aren't damaged at all. I keep this on here, and I can replace this.
The little elbow, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Rather than having to, I go out, and I recommend anybody who does this, go out and buy yourself an elbow. That way, when you're constantly turning it on and off, you're not damaging this piece here that's in the rig, because that can get damaged. I've got several ways to turn off the water if I needed to. This way, here. So it comes in handy to have those kind of things there. Anyways, so there's, like you saw, the water was coming out, and that's because the tank, this reservoir was full. So all I have to do is turn it on.
So basically, you're pumping it just to fill it slightly?
Yeah, I'm filling the reservoir that's in here, which means you're priming it. I have to prime it.
That's the word.
I have to prime it so that it will suck the water out.
Okay.
It's the pump is works by pressure. If there's no pressure and if there's no water in the reservoir, it doesn't use what it needs to. It won't suck anything. It has to use the water. So Anyways, then turn it off. You can see the hose is wiggling. That's because the water's making its way up to this thing. So it's working now. Fast forward to a couple minutes and we'll show you what happens when it fills up.
So right back there is where we're getting the water. I'm trying to think where it is. Right there is where we get the water here at Pipe Springs Park. But it does have some history here. This is a Civil War battlefield. Let me show you guys this. So there's kind of a monument here, and it was on July 2nd of 1862 that the federal troops came in and they attacked the Confederate Army here, and they surprised them. They didn't know they were coming. They surprised them, and they had hardly been able to return fire before the federal troops had come in and taken over. And it was like fighting that lasted, I guess, nearly the whole day. But they were overtaken here. So here's a little battlefield where they were camping out, the Confederate Army. So anyway, so we like that because it also helps to teach our kids a little bit about the Civil War times and why this park is so significant as well. And there is some significance into the pipe there. They camped out here, the Confederate Army camped out here because of the spring right over there so that they could have water. And then I think it was in the really early 1900s, I believe it was 1910, but don't quote me on that, where they ended up putting in a pipe there so that the water would flow. The word is escaping me, but so that the water would flow centralized, or I can't think of the word, but anyways, hope you guys understand what I mean. But anyway, so that is the history of Pipe Springs Park, which is just near us.
So, welcome back. That was quick, huh? It wasn't. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes to fill this thing up. So once you fill it up, what mine does is start to leak out a overflow valve. So just watching it'll do that. Watch right here.
That way I get it. Make sure I get it. I'll keep going.
Did you see that? What?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
So that's the overflow valve?
That's it, yep. That's the overflow valve. That means that it's done. That means that it's full. So the tank is here, the tank is here, the overflow valve comes up. So once the tank is full, it runs up the pipe. The reason why I know that is because I've been up underneath there. And I've seen the tanks. I've seen every one of our tanks up underneath there just because I was doing something underneath the whole rig. So I ended up cutting it quite a bit. Anyways, so that's what happens. So it fills up the tank, and then it fills up the hose and it comes out. And that's how we do it.
That's our daily life.
That's one of my, it's like Little House on the Prairie. Like they had a little chore where they had to go down to the well and get a bucket and get water. That's one of my chores, is to get rid of to get the water, pump it into our rig, so our family has water.
We're like the modern 1800s.
Modern little house in the prairie. This is our little house in the woods.
Little house in the woods.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no war.